We have to bring our party together. We have to bring it together. We have something happening that actually makes the Republican Party probably the biggest political story anywhere in the world. Everybody's writing about it, all over Europe, all over the world they're talking about it.
Well, after winning the major primaries last night, Donald Trump reiterated that the GOP party has got to find a way to unite. Now, he is the man to do it because he's done what's been so elusive for the party for years. He's bringing in people who don't vote, didn't vote, Democrats, Reagan Democrats. He's bringing them all in. He's got a huge tent. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. David McIntosh from Club from Growth does not agree with that. And Carl Higbie, he's a Trump surrogate. He says he's absolutely right. David, I'll start with you. You guys spent a lot of money to stop Trump last night. You happy with your return on investment?
You know, it didn't work in several of the states. It almost worked in Missouri, where it was down to a virtual tie. I wish we'd have had a better result, and Ted Cruz would have won the states we were in. Was glad Kasich beat him in Ohio. You know, Charles, the way for Trump to unite the Republican Party is for him to drop out and endorse one of those two.
Well, Carl, I mean, listen, the hashtag Never Trump, I see a lot of conservatives still using it. They're still reluctant to come over to Donald Trump, but he is building out. He's got 7.5 million votes so far. There's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm for the GOP that they've never seen before. But what is it that they're missing? Why? And can Donald Trump, with his temperament, be the guy who can really unite the conservatives back into the party?
Absolutely, but Donald Trump can only unite the party if one thing happens. If the GOP recognizes that the message and the desire for the Republican Party is changing. It is not the same old party anymore. It is totally different, and people need to recognize.
So should it have another name then? Should it be a different party that's not the same party?
Just a rebrand. All they need to do is understand the message has changed. Look, the traditional Republican now, my age, I'm 32 and younger, they're fiscally conservative, but they're pro-choice, and they have a little bit more socially liberal. You need to recognize that. I mean, if they don't recognize that, they're going to lose the whole shebang.
I mean, what do you say to that? You know, I know a lot of people who are religious conservatives who have opposition to Trump. It's not just so-called establishment. There are people who say Donald Trump and what he's bringing to the party go against their core values. Is there a time now for some of these older Republicans to sort of compromise, understanding that the party may be evolving, rather?
You know, Charles, the core value that the club stands for is limited government and free market economics. That, if you throw that overboard, then the Republican Party is really just a pale imitation of the Democratic Party. What part of
Donald Trump's platform is big government and overspending? What part of his platform goes against what you guys don't like?
When he says, I'll have government run the health care system, which he said recently, when he says, I'm not going to respect property rights and think it's okay to take it from one family to give to developers, when he says, I'm still open to giant tax increases to pay down the debt, none of that is good free market, pro-growth economics, and he still says it now on the campaign trail.
But look, people are voting for him because, you know what, the fact of the matter is I don't want to raise taxes either, but to pay down this $19 trillion debt, we're going to have to do something. And as far as the property rights go, people are beating him over the head against that. Look, the Bushes did the same thing for their stadium in Texas, so let's be honest about it. It's not all, you know, all Donald Trump's fault. He's doing a good job, and he's being rational about stuff.
Yeah, the Bush is lost. If we become pale imitation of the Democratic Party, we're for big government just run by Donald Trump.
But then what about the notion that Donald Trump has succeeded on the financial side of life in ways that most people can only dream of? If he brings that expertise to the White House, we can probably turn this thing around. That's what Trump people are saying. That's what Carl is saying. Forget about the other social stuff. Neither one of you guys are debating that. But you're debating along the economic lines. You don't think he'll bring that expertise to the White House if he wins the presidency?
You know, Charles, we went and researched how he made that fortune and talked to a lot of the people who suffered when he went bankrupt and saved his money. But these were small businessmen, contractors who were left holding the bag. And routinely they told us that's what he'd do. He'd come and stiff us and say, we're not going to pay you 100 cents on the dollar. We're only going to pay you 80 cents on the dollar. Too bad that,
well,
that means you've lost money on this.
But Donald Trump has played by the rules that's been set in place by all the other people on stage. Well, now the other two other people on stage. None of those guys have ever created a single job. Donald Trump has. And that's why he's turning out unprecedented numbers of voters. And if the GOP doesn't recognize that, they're out.